The silence in the celestial halls was not broken by a scream, but by the sound of something feeding. Seraphimon stood alone, his 10 golden wings heavy with the weight of a failing world. Before him, Arkadiamon, a grotesque glitch in the fabric of reality, pulsed with an unholy hunger.
"Is this the end of the divine?"
The creature hissed, its voice 1,000 distorted frequencies. Seraphimon didn't answer with words. He raised his hand, and the very air began to crystallize into pure sanctity. The 7 heaven spheres ignited, orbiting him like dying stars. He knew the prophecies. He knew that this creature had evolved by consuming the code of those he swore to protect. "You are an error in the system," Seraphimon's voice resonated, calm but trembling with the strain of holding back the darkness. "And I am the firewall." He launched the first strike. A beam of concentrated holiness tore through the void, illuminating the terrifying evolution of Arkadiamon. The collision sent shockwaves through the digital world, shaking the very foundations of the kernel. But as the smoke cleared, the angel saw it. Arkadiamon hadn't dodged. It had tasted the attack. The nightmare was just beginning. The predator had found its god, and it was starving. The battlefield is no longer a palace. It's a distorted cage of data. Arkadiamon's limbs begin to elongate, weaving through the air like digital vipers. Seraphimon's armor starts to crack, leaking golden particles. The sanctuary was gone. In its place, a landscape of jagged code and suffocating silence. Seraphimon felt a sensation he hadn't known since his inception: vulnerability. Every time his wings beat, Arkadiamon grew larger, absorbing the displaced holy energy. "You fight with the tools of a god," the monster roared, its body shifting into its ultimate form. "But you are trapped in a body of glass." With a scream of defiance, Seraphimon unleashed the testament, a massive explosion of sacred law meant to rewrite the enemy's existence. For a second, the screen turns blinding white, but as the glare fades, the horror is revealed. Arkadiamon didn't shatter. It opened its chest, revealing a core of pure darkness that sucked the light inward. The angel fell to one knee. His gold plating was turning gray, losing its luster. Arkadiamon lunged, its scythe-like claws grazing Seraphimon's helmet, shattering the visor. For the first time we see the angel's eyes, filled not with fear, but with a terrifying realization. To defeat a monster that eats miracles, he would have to become something the heavens never intended. He gripped his holy sword, but instead of pointing it at the beast, he turned the blade toward his own chest. "If you want my light," Seraphimon whispered, "you will have to burn with it." The air began to vibrate. The final evolution was no longer a choice. It was a sacrifice. "You wanted to consume the heavens?" Seraphimon's voice was no longer a whisper. It was a choir of 1,000 thunders. He thrust his sword into his own chest, not to die, but to release the lock on his core. "Then feast until you burn." The 7 heaven spheres didn't fly towards Arkadiamon. They imploded into Seraphimon's palm, creating a singularity of pure, unadulterated holy data. Arkadiamon lunged, its maw expanding to swallow the angel whole. But it was a trap. As the monster's jaws closed, Seraphimon unleashed the final Exequy. It wasn't a beam, it was a flood. A tidal wave of light so dense it began to rewrite Arkadiamon's code from the inside out. The predator screamed, its body flickering between its forms, unable to process the infinite purity being forced into its dark hunger. "Too much light." Arkadiamon's voice shattered. With a final silent pulse, the void erupted. The explosion didn't destroy the 7th heaven. It restored it. As the light settled, Arkadiamon was gone, reduced to a single inert egg of corrupted data. Seraphimon stood in the center of the crater, his armor gone, his wings reduced to embers. He had saved the world, but the cost was his divinity. He looked at his hands, now turning into simple, human-like data. The god had fallen, but the error was deleted. The system was silent at last.